Welcome back to the Green Tea Podcast, episode 2.
Dose.
Mm-hmm. We had so much fun with episode 1, I guess we figured we would do episode 2.
Yeah, I figured. Might as well.
Why the heck not? Welcome. If you have never joined us, where the heck have you been? If you're coming back for episode 2, you're our faves. Again, Ryan Smith joined alongside Miss Ashley.
Yep.
So we're super excited for episode 2. Got a lot to pack into this one.
Yes.
And so we're super excited about it. Lots of cool things to talk about here in just a few minutes. And we'll go ahead and clear our throats, even though we just started, just for the sake of clearing our throats. And we'll be right back with segment 1. From the sunrise over the Tar River to a Saturday morning stroll at Wildwood Park, we love where we live. This break is brought to you by the people who keep our greenways beautiful and our community growing. The Green Tea Podcast is sponsored by the citizens of Greenville. See you out there on the trails. Well, welcome back to the Green Tea Podcast. Ready for segment 1, Ashley?
Yes, absolutely.
Super exciting. So obviously, if you're new, segment 1 is kind of where we go through our events and anything upcoming within the city. So month of May, just starting to get a little bit warm outside. So I'm starting to... We need it to rain.
We do need it to rain.
But I'm okay with the temperature. So you'll see a special guest over here off to your left side of the camera. It's my right. Somebody's left. Doesn't really matter.
The side.
For the people who are listening on audio, it doesn't really matter what side he's on. So we'll have a special guest here in just a second. But the first big thing we want to talk about in the month of May is Sunday in the Park kicking back off, returning May 31st. So it's like literally the last Sunday in May, but we still get to talk about it because it's May.
Yeah, it's May.
So excited that'll be at Wildwood Park, and that'll kick off that whole summer and then into fall series with Sunday in the Park. So super excited for that. And then our other big piece of news is where our special guest is going to come in. We've got Jacob, our Director of Financial Services. And Jacob, we've got kind of a important thing coming up here in 2 months, but we kind of wanted to give a little bit of a preview to the public here in the month of May. We've got a special public hearing going on that deals with your department. So if you want to give us a little taste of what that's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So June 8th, we have our public hearing for the city's budget. That's where citizens have an opportunity to come to the city and give us their thoughts, their input on where the budget stands before council adopts the budget. That way council can get immediate feedback from the citizens of Greenville about how they feel about where we're spending our money. And if they want to make any changes at that point, it gives them an opportunity to have those addressed before we adopt the budget. Anyone interested in the budget will actually be previewing the budget at the May 11th council meeting. That's where we'll present the city manager's budget to council for all the spending that we're anticipating for fiscal year. This will be fiscal year 27 coming up. And once that's done, we'll have a copy of the budget available in the city clerk's office for inspection. As well, it will also be attached to the city's website through the council agenda section. And then once we get to June, people have a chance to have their voices heard on the budget, and after that, we'll move on to adoption.
I think that's kind of a unique thing, too, when you talk about a city's budget, to literally have the ability for the public to go, so why are we spending money on that, and, how's it allocated, and to kind of come with those. And, I mean, obviously, you're a numbers guy. Literally, you kind of have to be in your position. But I think it's kind of cool that the public gets a chance to come in and be like, ask questions and be a little bit more informed about where their tax dollars are going towards.
Absolutely. And the more engagement we have, the better it is for everybody. A lot of people don't realize how much money flows through the city of Greenville, but just our operating fund alone is over $120 million now. And it's a large chunk of change to most people. It's actually smaller than some other cities our size, but it has a great impact on the community, and we try to maximize the return we get on that. So the more engagement we get from the public, the more we know about what their goals and objectives are. It can help council also kind of use their judgment on how we spend our money, and it makes the budgeting process just much easier from my perspective when we have that feedback from the public.
Yeah, you know what people want, so you can guide it in that direction.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, perfect, Jacob. Thank you for coming in and letting the public know about that. Again, everybody, come look on the GreenvilleNC.gov website, and look for all of that information to come out there. And again, obviously, like we've said, come out to that June City Council meeting, make your voices heard, and then be more informed too. Because if you're an informed citizen, then you should potentially be a happy citizen. I would think that would be.
And it makes our community better when our citizens are engaged and informed. So yeah,
that's what we love. So Jacob, thank you so much for popping in.
Appreciate it.
And we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with a little bit more tea here on the Green Tea Podcast.
We know there's no such thing as too much barbecue, and we definitely know how to spill the tea. The Green Tea Podcast is brought to you by the neighbors you see at the Scullery and at the pit stops on the Brew and Q Trail. Sponsored by the citizens of Greenville. Thanks for keeping it flavorful.
And welcome back to the Green Tea Podcast, into our next segment where we kind of talk about some upcoming projects and give some updates on things. Again, month of May, a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
GFR is going to I'm trying really hard not to use a firefighting pun, so I'm just going to not.
Do it.
Yeah, well, I just don't want them to get burnt. So here's the thing. The city is completing their construction on their live burn facility. Already seen kind of the development of that. And it's kind of cool to see giant red, are they Conex boxes, I think is what they're called? Shipping containers.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're giant red shipping containers being stacked on each other, and it takes me back to my childhood of like Lego block building, and I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. So kind of cool that they'll actually have something here in Greenville rather than having to go to Goldsboro. Goldsboro. Sorry, it's where I'm currently living at the moment. So it's going to be kind of nice for GFR to have a place to train here in town and get those next level of amazing GFR workers in their training. Next project up to date is Corey Road. Hear a lot about Corey Road just on different aspects of it. So that having a lot of flooding issues, they're working on that for about 6 weeks here this summer. So there's more details coming about that, in the upcoming weeks, but that will be happening this summer. And then the other favorite thing that Ashley wants to talk about is DOT, because you're basically like your DOT aficionado. Yes, you do. So there's a couple of projects with DOT. Work has begun on Allen Road widening. So that, again, if you need more information on that, please go to the NCDOT website. Evan Street and Old Tar Road widening is set to begin in June of 2027. The 14th Street widening and improvements is expected to begin July of 28. That seems crazy, but as we spoke to Ken last month, this stuff is done so far in advance, you just don't realize how far. So 2028 doesn't seem like that's far, but wait, there's another one that's even further out than that.
Oh, yeah.
Fire Tower Road. Everybody's favorite fire.
I know that it's going to be a pain in the butt, but I am ready for Fire Tower to be bigger.
Bigger and better. So that is expected to begin in 2029. So again, it's far out, but we're under DOT's purview with those things. So those are a lot of projects that have some far out dates, but just wanted to give you a couple of updates on that. So that's our update section. We'll take one more break, and we'll bring in a little bit more heat with our segment number, Trace, and our special guest coming on this month. You are in for a treat. We'll be right back. The purple and gold runs deep in this town. This episode is sponsored by the citizens of Greenville, the loudest fans in Dowdy Ficklin and the best neighbors in the East. Thanks for supporting local voices. Go Pirates! And welcome back to the Green Tea Podcast. We're into, it's got to be my favorite segment. I don't know about you.
No, yeah, 100%.
100% my favorite segment. So we decided to bring a little bit of spice into this episode. You'll find out why. No, we're not cooking. That's a different show. Please make sure to tune into that as well. I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is cool. We're switching it up. We have got Miss Isabella Sardina here in the studio with us. Woo woo. Yeah. Small golf clap. She is basically, I want to call you like a jack of all trades at this point, because I feel like I've seen you in like 13 different roles since you started with us in like 5 different capacities.
Feels that way.
Yeah. So let's see. If I'm going to try to get this right, you are now a planner 2.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to back up just a little bit, just because you also share just the amazing empowerment that it is being from Goldsboro.
That's right.
I mean, we are in Greenville.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I was like, empowerment of women of color, and I was ready for all of that. And you went, Goldsboro.
That's like 0.4. It's 0.4.
That's like me being like, Benson.
We're getting there.
Actually, no, that's worse. I'm sorry. That's
I was
worse.
going to say Benson.
Yeah.
You just...
You're
this is supposed to be
here.
highbrow,
Sorry.
and you just brought it down a little.
I love Benson.
Yeah, so Wayne County native. I think the first time I found that out, it was kind of like basically anytime I tell anybody where I went to school and they have somebody actually goes, oh, I know where that is. And I'm like, you have no idea where Murfreesboro, North Carolina is. And they're like, no, I know. I'm like, do you though? And I'm like, what's around it? And they're like, this, and that. I'm like, okay, you do. That's kind of shocking. Mostly just because most of the time when you're, at least my short time here with the city, when you work in Greenville, there is a lot of connectivity, but it's all within the county. At least it feels that way. There's not a whole lot of pull from it. When you find out that there are some people that will make a commute from Rocky Mount or Wilson or whatnot to come in here, you're kind of surprised, and then you realize like, oh yeah, I mean that can. Some people live in certain places and they come in. So super excited to have you on.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a slight brief bio for Isabella here. I find it kind of interesting that you're like an ECU pirate times 2. Because just if being one wasn't enough, you decided to double it up.
I did.
So you got your bachelor's in city planning, and then you are trying to super yourself here and go for your master's in planning. So you really like digging the planning route here.
I really am. I have no other route plans. I'm a planner through and through. And I fell in love with that field. I fell in love with learning about it. So that's why I'm doing my master's, and I'm finishing up in December. So I'm just one semester away. May is rolling around, and that's the end of this semester. So just one more to go.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Are
you going to go any further than that? Like, I don't know if there's
As
PhDs.
of right now, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see.
Could you imagine like doctor of planning? That just seems fascinating.
That would be
I
incredible.
don't know. Does that exist? I don't even know. But
It
like,
might.
It would be kind
It
of.
will. How about that?
If it's not, you're about to find the first one. So something that I find interesting, and we've had this in a couple different capacities with a couple of people here that worked for the city, but the fact that you started as an intern in our department, city manager's office,
Oh, yeah.
I thought was kind of cool. And you have literally just kind of progressed through, all of these different stages within your career. So I kind of wanted to start with that as far as, is this kind of how you saw your path going, and kind of walk us through what it was like to come in, I want to say like young and naive, and I'm working for the city and this is cool, and I'm going to get some experience, and I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. And then it's like your foot's in the door and you're like, here's a chair, sit down, here's a title.
My foot's stuck.
My foot's stuck, and why is the elevator moving? So just kind of walk us through, because it's been kind of cool to see you kind of progress from intern to going into different departments, and then obviously where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So I will say this wasn't planned, although I am a planner. Gosh, I could just say that so many times. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the puns are really going to be planned and unplanned.
So the city manager's office internship was actually something I hadn't even heard about until I was scrolling on Instagram. Thank you, Ashley. And
Here we go.
And it
I'm
came
not
up.
even 5 minutes into this segment.
Do my hair flip.
And it wasn't my plan at all. I had actually had hoped to go to DC for a certain internship that I had worked out, which was very exciting, until I saw the housing costs. And then I was like, well, I can't do that. So I'm all disappointed, and I'm like, man, what am I going to do with my life once school ends? Instagram, Ashley, saved me. And I'm like, I could stay in Greenville. I really like Greenville. So I fell in love with Greenville after while doing my degree at ECU. And I was like, maybe I'll stick around here a little bit longer, and we'll see how that goes. So the CMO internship, I apply for it, and it turns out that I get it. I'm all excited, and being a CMO intern was so very exciting.
And you had a really good group,
I had a great group.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I made some great friends.
Yeah.
We still stay in touch here and there, and I'm so proud of them. And it just so happened to be that while I was in that position, someone was leaving in what was at that point the Neighborhood and Business Services Department. And my area of expertise while I was a student was hazard mitigation and housing. So when I realized Neighborhood and Business Services was kind of my area, I was like, hey, could I potentially learn from this person before they leave and head out? So Gella Johnson, shout out to Gella if you're watching.
Miss her.
I was trying to remember who she was talking about. I was like, oh, right, I forgot about that.
She, within weeks, while I was an intern here and there, would be like, come to my office. And she would teach me everything that she could. by the time I finished up my internship, I applied for that job, and I killed the interview, and I was good to go. So that, not planned at all, but it worked out in my favor for sure. And then this position, the Planner 2 position, opened up, and also the person who was in the previous position, Blake, he was a friend of mine from when I was at ECU. We were in the same program, and when he had left, oh, what a shame. But then I realized that position was open.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
Excuse me.
So I saw an opportunity for growth, and as much as I loved my previous position, I did really want to learn some more and see, kind of dip my toe into different areas of planning and community development and that realm. So I'm happy that now I'm doing historic preservation and learning some other things while doing it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she unfortunately has to spend more time with me during those meetings, which I kind of found was funny because all of a sudden, like I didn't see a transaction of you switching jobs, but I think you had told me about it. And all of a sudden you appear in the HPC meeting. I'm like, why is she? Oh, that makes sense. And then you were there with Shantae, and I was like, there is no way she is about to, like, first meeting go into this, because historic preservation, for nobody that's, like, been in it or been a part, it can get, like, a little dicey in there, because you're threading some thin lines of, like, do you need to get approval for this? Do you not? Is this more of just like here's an idea of how to do this?
It's quasi-judicial.
And so it gets kind of nitpicky of whether or not you understand as a, like, homeowner or a tenant, like, are you allowed to do these things or not? And you have to come before the board, and sometimes it can be intimidating for the amount of people I've seen walk up there and go, hi, I've never done this before. And I'm like, talking to the microphone, nobody can hear you. I'm like texting the people out there going, please tell them to speak in the microphone, nobody's going to hear them. And so, like, I saw you walk up to her, and she's like, so she's going to be doing this next month. And you're just like, I was like, oh, okay. She gets the learning curve. So excited for you to...
making that clear to applicants is definitely the trickiest part of the job. There's so many ins and outs and things to keep an eye on when you're applying for external changes to your historic property. So it's definitely tricky for some.
Well, I think that, too, is they're getting ready to update the design guidelines, too, and getting those subcommittees out there. And so it's like, what was once something may not be something anymore, or it may not be as strict as it was before. So I find it, like, at least in my end, and, there in the back, I'm just kind of like, so what changes are they about to make to this? And is this about to get more complicated or less complicated? It's like, ideally, you want it to be less, but I feel like for some people, it's going to get more complicated.
I mean, it's complicated for me no matter what, so I don't know.
You don't own a historic house.
True. That's
true.
fair. Mine was 2015.
I think mine's in the 70s, but I don't really remember. I'm also out in
That's
the county.
almost historic at this point.
Listen, okay. We're not... At least
19!
I'll say at least we were still born in the 19s. At least it makes me feel not so old.
Different century.
Right? God, this is not helping my mental status today. So something that I find kind of funny, at least, with how this job goes, is there's a camaraderie with, I think, a lot of us in the city and how we kind of pull together. And you have no idea where I'm going with this, so that's why it's kind of funny. Is the fact that the cameo appearance that you had in The Amazing Race, I thought was kind of funny, because that's right. Yeah, I'm bringing that up. Because that...
I don't even remember this cameo appearance.
Yes, you were doing the...
Oh, that's right.
You were at...
I was at Aji, yeah.
Oh, was I with you? Or was that a different one? Oh, okay.
Yes.
You were. That's why I brought it up.
Because this was in 24.
It was really hard to film there. Like, just where we were in, because Aji's huge, but like, just where we were in the area that we were in, it was like, I'm trying to get these people doing all this stuff.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, unbeknownst to you, like, we did site visits to all these places before we actually filmed this, so that, like, I could visually get, like, an idea of, Ashley, who's helping me, but she's not a videographer, so I have to be like, this is what I need you to do. I need you at this angle. Like, you don't have to ask questions, but you can ask that, like, to try to get these things to make it look as close as I could to the actual CBS Amazing Race, because that's one of my favorite shows ever. So, like, I wanted it to be a really good production that the city put on it. So you're running into, you have no idea who's at these stops until the day of. And so then I'm going back, and we were told, oh, there's going to be, like, live music going on in the background, but they're going to be over here and whatnot. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that should be a problem, because this thing's tucked over here in the corner. And then you can't hear anything. And I was like, oh my God, that's Isabella, but I cannot understand what in God's name she's saying. And you're like trying to like do a voiceover because at that time I didn't even know what the events were. I just kind of roughly knew what they were doing. So you're trying to explain it to people, and that is really difficult because I was like, she said a little bit of live music, and then it was little, but it was really loud. And
Because it was
like,
jazz, I think.
It was, yeah. They do
There's
jazz
some-
nights here and
there's
there.
like some
Yeah.
jazz flute going on in there. back to
And yeah,
Bon
and the
Jovi days.
jazzes.
Oh yeah.
And they were really good.
Yeah.
They were
It
really
is really good.
I'm listening to it going, all right. But I can't understand what's going on in the actual thing I'm supposed to be doing. So
But
like,
we know there's jazz music.
We know they're jazz.
yes. See, so then jazz segues me to my next point.
Gotcha.
Fun facts.
Fun facts.
Yay.
Fun
This
facts.
is actually my favorite part.
This is
Yay.
true. So theater kid,
Yes.
Same.
Oh,
Not
of
same.
course. I could sense it.
I
could
was the-
sense it from you.
I was the
since day
athlete.
one.
I was in
Swords.
montage. Like I could pound out some poetry. Like you get me into
interesting.
that. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was publishing everything in our high school montage magazine and everything.
That's
Like
great.
it was. I love that. That was where like I had my
I love
creative.
how even Aaron is like, what?
Yeah, man.
Sorry, breaking that fourth wall.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked.
Like
if
it
I'm
was.
being
I love it. Channeling my inner Tony Parker.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
See,
Was he a theater kid?
No, but he does
No,
he
he's a
does
poet.
all his poetry that got
He wrote,
published.
me, he wrote me a
True.
poem actually called Pantaclaus because during Christmas time I was having a stroke, not literally, but I
I heard panda. Did you say panic?
Panta.
Panta. Okay.
I could not say Santa. We were having a conversation about Christmas, and for the love of God, it would not come out. So I said Panta, and then he found it so funny. He went home and he wrote a poem about Pantaclaus, who is Santa Claus's like twin brother, who was never quite as cool as Santa. So now I have that in my office.
Oh my god.
That is phenomenal. And I'm
love
now going to
that.
say Merry Pantmas to you.
Mary Patmos.
I'm just going to make it my own word.
I like it.
So talk to us a little bit about the because I have a niece that's super into that, and it's kind of
Yeah.
fun to like watch her. Like she doesn't have a shell to break out of, at least not in my mind. But it's kind of cool to watch. I could never do it because I can never memorize lines.
Oh.
That was not happening. So like I find it kind of cool that it's like something that some people are really gifted at, and that it's kind of cool when they get into it. You're
Yeah.
like, you sold me on whoever the heck you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of talk to us a little bit about like how that's kind of broken you out, because obviously
Sure.
that comes into play when you're talking to the public, and if you're somebody that's extremely introverted and you're trying to work in an outwardly facing position for the
Oh, yeah.
city, those things tend not to clash. So do you feel like that's kind of helped you a little bit?
Definitely. It's helped me in every aspect of my life. Just self-confidence internally and that external confidence that I share with the rest of the world. I was a really timid kid, and I had a mother who was the exact opposite, the most extroverted mother in the world. So imagine that at home. And she's like, we just need to break you out of your shell. You just need to do this. You just need to do that. I love her. I love my mom, and she's the reason why I am who I am. She's the one who was like, maybe we can try theater. And I gave it a shot, and I was like, nope, this is terrifying. I hate this, and I don't want to do it.
That was me with cheerleading.
Sports.
Yeah, sports. Go
Okay,
sports.
easy with the sports. I'm the sports guy. Remember this. Jeez.
And and then really once I finished one full show and I performed it, I was like, I need it. Again and again and again. It was like an itch every time. So so I did theater throughout most of elementary, middle, and high school. I haven't done anything since, but it definitely shaped who I am. And now I go and watch performances anytime that I can. So yeah, my biggest role was Susie from Miracle on 34th Street. But I've been in
Cute.
so many shows. My favorite one was probably Footloose because it was the most fun.
Oh, that is
Oh, that's a good one.
My first one was the Music Man, and let's see, my favorite one that I've ever watched, of course, has got to be Hamilton or Wicked.
Oh, Hamilton.
I struggle through those so much. There's so much
that's
dancing.
so unfortunate.
There's so much dancing.
Hey, and now I'm in historic preservation. Shout out Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Right.
Fair.
100%.
My wife tried to get me to watch, like she had already watched it, I think like 2 or 3 times already. And she's like, well, you didn't watch Hamilton? I was like, sure. And I think I made it through like maybe 5 minutes and went, why is there so much singing?
So did you
It's a
not
musical.
know that it was a Broadway
No,
musical?
I had no
okay.
idea.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
And so
I was like, well, it's a
and then
musical,
I'm like, I can't focus because they keep breaking out into song, and I'm trying to follow the plot line, and there's so much singing. And she goes, "That's the point." I'm like, okay. So she'll randomly break out in Hamilton song form and just start singing them, and then it
Good.
reminds me of, I still yet to this day, as we record this podcast, have I still not seen that thing all the way through.
Oh, that's a shame.
I made Matt watch it because I boo-hoo sobbed at the end of Hamilton.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
like multiple times.
Right,
and I
right.
watched it multiple times. And so I made Matt watch it with me one time. And at the end, he was like, I made a guess it's good.
I guess.
I was like, yes.
I like showing people Hamilton because I like their reactions to what happened.
Right.
And like not knowing our history, the American history, in that level of detail in like a comedic way where it's like, oh, now it makes sense to me. Now let me say, the first time I watched Hamilton, I watched it in 10th grade in high school while I was finishing up an American history class. And I aced that exam because there was a question that asked for 10 facts on Alexander Hamilton.
Oh,
Let me tell you, I gave them 10 facts. And
on a
more.
roll right there.
As
And
she
they
was singing it,
rhymed.
as she was singing. Like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. See, like that's my thing. Like with history, like for me, it was. I think that's why I struggled with that because I was watching it going, okay, so when's the next thing happening? And then they break out into song.
Right.
And I'm like, why are we singing about the sisters? Why are we talking about sisters and what I understand who that is, but now she's rotated off of there and I can't find. I'm just.
But I mean, also
Not
like
for it.
Also, not only because of the history for Hamilton for me, but like the idea of like the rotating stage, like because I should have prefaced when I say I did theater growing up, I was only on stage for like a year. And then I'm very much a backstage person.
Gotcha.
So I did a lot of student directing. I was very
Ooh, that's
bossy in
awesome.
high school. So, oh my God.
No way.
What would they have done without you?
Right. So
Catch that vibe.
So I was very much like behind the scenes, and so I thought it was just so cool. I was like, imagine just like being behind the scenes while that show's going on, and like all the different ways that they're like rotating things, pulling things off, bringing things on, and you don't even
So
see it
impressive.
happening. Yeah,
so
it's
impressive.
crazy.
Yeah. The set design is insane. The
Yeah.
costumes are insane. Yeah, it's great.
So this is the part of the podcast where I feel completely disconnected from everything, and the two of you were just like.
That was me in
I'm
the
so-
first 2 segments.
Okay.
I was like,
You know,
budget.
just-
What's that?
money.
I like to spend it. I don't like to save it. That's no fun at all. Planning things. See, look, planning things. I brought in another planning joke.
Oh.
Okay, but also on the other side, I love to travel. You have traveled to quite a few places.
Yes, I have. So fortunately, while I was in my early teens, my aunt lived in Europe for 5 years in Italy. And because of that, I was able to spend a whole summer with her. And we went to various countries, Slovenia, Croatia, England, and then recently one of my best friends, her family lives in Germany, so she and I and one of our other closest friends January of last year, we went to Germany, Belgium, and France, and it was just a fantastic time.
Yeah.
But outside of Europe, of course my family's from Ecuador, so I've been a few times. We recently went, I think it was about this time last year. It feels like it was like just a few months ago. It was a great time seeing all the family members that I never get to see, and it really just feels like home.
Yeah.
Then I also went to South Korea while I was a student at ECU, and that was led by
fun.
Dr. Mi-sun Her, who is just one of the greatest professors I've ever had in my life. And she took us all around Seoul, Korea, and took us to a smaller town as well. It was beautiful.
That's awesome.
Are you ready to break out a country?
Break out a country?
No, not break out a country. Like break out of the country.
Yeah.
Just go with me here. It's
Okay,
gonna make
okay,
sense.
okay.
So you mentioned Ecuador, which actually to this second didn't know that's where your heritage came from. Because I think you and I have had this conversation at least a little bit, and I feel like you have because I'm Cuban. My mother's from Cuba and escaped and said see you later as soon as she could. So there's a strong bond there. I went to Cuba when I was in college. The only one of my family that's ever gone there. So it's cool to see culture and how that connects and everything else. And I'm going to connect this into two different things. And you have that look, which is why I love when I do this and you have no idea what I'm doing.
I mean, vibes, but...
Oh, there's vibes. There's vibes, all right. So we kind of joked about this off camera a little bit, but we talked about, you know, your love of Latin dance and everything with that. We unfortunately could not get Ashley to convince or to be persuaded. I don't know. We could not convince you to learn how to salsa.
My middle name is Maria, by the way, but I was like, there is no part of me that is Hispanic. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know where my mom got it.
About to go Ricky Martin in a second, so just, y'all start singing Hamilton, I'm about to go Ricky Martin, and we'll never know.
But I just, you know, it would... It's just better that we don't.
Fair enough.
All right. But we compromised and we said that you were going to try to learn like a phrase in Spanish.
Yes.
So
I've got one.
What you got?
Okay.
Before we end the podcast, that's how we're going to end the podcast.
Okay.
But don't tell me what it means in English until after you teach me.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, wait, does it make it better if you tell me first?
No.
Oh, okay.
Funny phrase.
I was just
it's whether or not
already gonna
I'm
do
going to
that.
know and whether or not she says it.
Okay, so the phrase is en buena compañía.
En buena compañía.
Yes. I didn't even have to correct you once.
Oh, I love
that was
that.
perfect.
Oh my God. I did take 2 semesters in college.
There you go. Do you want to guess what that means?
In good company.
Yes!
Oh my
I'm
God.
looking at the sign going, there's your
had to.
context.
I literally
I
was
had
like,
to.
compañía, that has to be company. Oh,
Yep.
she's so smart. That's good.
See, and now you can use that. Here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be a good one to share.
Well, I've always, I admire people who can speak more than one language. So, because it's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And so, even though I took French in high school and I took a couple semesters of Spanish in college, I am terrible at it. And I would love to be better, but then I just feel stupid sometimes. So, but I really admire somebody that can speak more than one language. It's so difficult, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a great quality to have.
Yes.
I've always appreciated that was something my family prioritized for me when I was a little girl, because it helps, to have learned that young.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if I ever do use Google Translate for a post and I need you to proofread it,
Yes.
okay?
Because Google Translate, it'll give you a good translation.
It'll translate something for you sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the most accurate.
Right.
It's like, that is
No.
not what that word means.
Yeah.
100%. So
Okay, see, look, we've learned, you are now bilingual. Congratulations.
that does not count.
Yes, it does. You can speak a different language. It may only be 3 words, but it's a different language.
There you go.
Attach it to your resume.
Here we go. Does that get me a raise? I'm just kidding.
Maybe. We'll have to see. That'll come next year. All right. Well, this has been so much fun, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Hope you have fun. Hope we conned you into at least having a little bit of a laugh. I know it's been fun for us, and so we appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
board.
I always have a good time.
So until
The 2 times that we've done this.
listen, I mean, at this point, we're still going up, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just going to continue rising at this point.
There's nowhere to go.
So I mean, we kicked off with Kent Graves, and then we're immediately going up with Isabella. So I mean, it's just
Hey,
next guest has got to bring
I like that.
some heat. So we'll see.
Yeah, I gotta figure out.
We gotta see how that goes. But yeah, we already got episode 3 lined up, so it's gonna be exciting.
Oh, okay. I don't know
there
that.
you go.
I don't know what's going
We've
on.
had this discussion off
We
air.
probably have.
I swear. Anyways, so
on,
super
Ashley.
excited. Isabella, thank you so much for joining
you.
us. Ashley, this was fun.
This is
Again,
great. Yeah.
Part 2. See, that was much more convincing than the last time you did this, and
Well, maybe I was nervous last time. I shouldn't have been nervous.
you shouldn't have been nervous. You're on camera more than I am, and I'm the one that has the
Yeah.
dang video camera.
True.
But nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 2 here of the Green Tea Podcast. I'd like to thank Isabella for joining us, Jacob for coming in and give us a little bit of information as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good listen, and we will see you next month for episode 3.
Bye.